don't cancel out the fans, man. That adds to the effect of the whole situation. I done tore the porch rails off the front porch. Hey, Mountain Man 025.
What have you going to try that Connex out again? I don't know. Grab the Connex too, Mud Duck.
Okay, we're back, and of course I showed you a little pile of goodies I had earlier. I showed you how we have that, what did they call it, transceiver dock system, I can't remember the name, the 621, and then we had this. So I already did a little bit of a video on the 621 there, and now it's time to move to this here. And I'm not real into the unboxing things, but with something like this, honestly, I just don't have a lot of brand new things to unbox, to be honest with you. A lot of the stuff I've got is old, I've had it forever or whatever, but given this is not a very old radio, meaning they've only been out for around a year now, and there's quite a few reviews and some videos on them, but it's still a relatively new radio, and there's still a lot of people wondering about them and thinking about them and everything. So that, and I really want to get into this thing and kind of play around with it, and I don't want to wait for the perfect time to do whatever video or I'm going to do on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the unboxing now and see if I can get the conversion taken care of now, and then I can get into it and mess around with it a little bit before I use it for any other testing. So with that, here we have the President Washington Mobile. It's AM FM sideband. I believe it does CW as well. I'm not positive on that. It may just be AM FM sideband. Just like it says on the box, advertised at 80 watts. I also got the optional President Digimic with it. That's gotten some pretty good reviews, and I don't know, it just seemed like if I was going to get this thing, I might as well just go all the way. I also got a fan kit here. This fan kit was from a store on eBay called Diddly Deals, I believe was the name of that place. And so here's the fan kit here. I got another extra fan. This is a smaller, thinner, clear fan, because one of these days I want to mess with maybe putting some colored fans on these things, since there aren't any colored fans available for it. So anyways, we got the radio, we got the fan kit, and the Digimic. So first we'll just do the Digimic. We'll just take it out of the box real quick, show you what's going on here. And there is power that goes to this, but it's powered from the radio, so there's no battery or anything to put in it. Kind of cool. Got the zombie green push to talk button there. Pretty nice little mic. You got your up and down channels on there, and then the button here to change the noise reduction settings. This is basically a noise canceling microphone, but it's supposed to be a very high quality microphone. So in addition to having noise canceling levels, if you want, it's also without the noise canceling levels, just supposed to be a really good sounding microphone. Apparently the stock ones that come with these are pretty good too. No complaints with those at all, but these are just kind of a step up. And again, if you're gonna have any kind of background noise or anything else, you definitely want one of these. And being this is a President and it's a 6-pin, being this microphone is specifically engineered for this radio, it's probably going to work a lot better than any other noise canceling microphone you're going to get for it. So anyways, that's what you got going on here. It's got some instructions in the box, and that's about all that's going on there. So we'll go ahead and just put the plastic back in here, put this back on here, and set this aside over here with the fan kit. Okay, definitely a nice looking box. I gotta say, when they dropped it off for me to sign for it, it was in a bigger cardboard box, and I was thinking, oh, this isn't the radio, this is something else. But no, it's not a huge radio, but they definitely got it packed in this box nice. So very nice looking box. If you're one of those people that keep your boxes, it's a nice looking box. It's a relatively well made. sturdy box, so as far as hanging on to your boxes, it'll stack nicely in your closet or wherever you put all your boxes at. That's what the back looks like. Kind of got a diagram and of everything going on there. Okay, enough of that. Not up there. It opens on both ends too. Same way, by the way. Let's do this proper. That. Pop it open there. And you get your President CV sticker, and you get 3 different manuals. And then this comes out. Here's your radio. Plastic off of here. This is going to be our microphone and all our hardware here. Just set this down here for a minute. Okay, let's just have a look at this thing here. Turn this down over here. I like it. It's not overly like chromy, truckery CB-ish. It's a little more subdued, but it's a nice looking. It's see what we've got going on the back there. We've got a lot of heat sink there. Your jack there, and then this has a standard CB style jack here. Some people kind of complain about that with the wattage this thing has, but you know, if you get an aftermarket plug and put some heavier wires on it, or even I haven't seen what wiring comes with it, but yeah, you can deal with that. And at least it's universal, and it's a plug that isn't hard to find, so that's a big bonus there. So we got a voice activated plug, a PA jack, and an external speaker. And just a warning there not to hook it up backwards. Your power. So there we go. Pretty nice looking little rig there. Most of this is kind of heat sinky, pretty heavy. I mean, it's a pretty nice radio. I mean, like I said, I kind of have a tendency to like the more older, you know, 148-ish style, Galaxy style, or even, you know, the RCI stuff. You know, more with buttons and knobs kind of stuff. But, you know, if you're going to get something that's newer, this is definitely a nice looking radio here. Like I said, it's not a trucker looking radio with all the chrome knobs and all that, but it's nice. They got a nice bezel on here. You know, this is definitely more of a futuristic, you know, gentleman's CB, if you will. So I like it, and so far anyways, it looks really nice. It's gotten great reviews. It's got a ton of features on it. It's got a lot of features that I'm never going to be able to, you know, explain to you or use. Yeah. So, alright, let's set this thing down, and let me think here for just a second what I need to do. Let me, let's see, first let's see what we got here for our accessories here. We've got our bracket here. And this is our mic hanger, our pads for the inside of the bracket there, and our knobs. Again, our stock microphone, and these are known to be pretty decent as well, so. Okay, and this is a relatively decent heavy-duty power cord here. This is one of the better ones. It's not like ones that come with a stock 25 or something that's just kind of a real soft. This is one of the more heavy-duty ones, so that's a little better. I mean, it's plenty of cord. I mean, for the length that it is, you know, if you can have this to a short run or run some bigger wires up to about here, you know, you're fine, even if you've got a little bit of length. This is probably, you know, okay for what it is, I would say. It could always use to be a little bit bigger, but that's, you know, again, this is the better stuff, so. That's good. So we'll set this over here. Okay, rumor has it there's two different ways to convert this thing. And there's either this, you take it apart and there's an area in there where you either, there's like a jumper, or you gotta put a wire or a resistor or something across these two, pads, or you can go in and do it through the menu. Some people do it both ways, so I think on these, I think this one's new enough. I think you can probably just do it through the menu, and that's the way I'm going to try to do it first. And if that doesn't succeed, then... But I am going to take the cover off because I got to get in there to put the fan kits on there, and I don't know if I'm going to do that first off, but I'm going to take it off and just look in there anyways, just to kind of see what's going on in there. While I do that, I'm going to put some of this stuff that I'm not going to be using back in the box here. So I'm just going to shut up for a minute. You're like, yeah, right. Shut up for a minute and let you look at it. Okay. The outside of the box is really nice looking. The rest of it, not so much. So this is what we're aiming for here. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead. Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the cover off of this thing and see what we got in here. Now, like I said, some people say that you got to lay a wire across there. I seriously need to get my... Okay, I need a little bit smaller screwdriver here. Okay. Here we go, and our speaker's just waiting to come out of that there, so let's just pull that out of there. Okay. So this is pretty much what we got here, which is a lot of not much, that you can do. There's where you hook the cooling fans up there. This whole board here is the cooling fan, the temperature sensor thing, and the whole cooling fan system there. Let's see. I do not see any jumpers. I see some jumpers in here, but they're not the movable kind. They're the kind you, like these right here. These jumpers right here, that's something that you would pull off for testing. It's not, they're not in there so you can move them around. Let's see. Okay, I'm back, and let's see here. Alright, I got my coax running over here, so I'm going to plug that into the back here, just because. It's not like we really need it hooked up to convert it. Matter of fact, since I don't even have the microphone hooked up, or do I need the microphone hooked up? Because sometimes you have to key and toggle with the microphone, so I guess I better just hook up the dang antennas. Just hook it up. You've got to make extra sure that the teeth on the back of your coax is engaged. I can't tell you how many times I put stuff on there and go back and you got a high SWR and you got to loosen it up, and it's just those teeth that got to engage. I'm going to do a video on that one of these days too. Coaxes, PL259s, 239s, and that's a video in its own these days, that's for sure. Okay, got that hooked up. Got the power wire. I got a power supply over there on the floor there. Make sure we're hooking this up the right way. Okay. So, I still got the bottom cover off here, so hook the microphone up here. Okay, alright, so let's see what we got going on here. Put my glasses on here. Please remove the transparent protective film before use. So they've got a sticker over the sticker that tells you to remove the sticker. I don't know about that. Where should I stick this sticker? How about on the inside of the cover here? Perfect. Alright. So let's see what we got here. Okay, there's not going to be any sound because I've got the bottom cover off here. Let me just throw that on real quick, since I'm going to try to do this in the menu, and maybe we should have some sound. I'll just flip this over real quick. We'll just take these screws off here. We'll plug our speaker back in right here. On there. Really nice cover. It's got this, you know, the screw on the back in the middle, but it's also got this little kind of felt thing on the edge here, like the old CBs used to, anyways. I'm just going to put a couple of these screws in. Alright, so that way we can have some sound while we're messing around with this here. Okay. Should we use a decent frame here? Alright. So, try to shore this up a little bit here. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Okay, you gotta watch these newer radios have these auto squelches, and so squelch is not all the way where you think it would be necessarily. Okay. Apparently I need to do some more research on this, so that's what I want to do. I will return. Okay, we're back, and after fiddling around with the menu, it seems as though there's no way to get into that service menu, or that part of the menu that I need to get into to punch in the code to allow it to go over to cover 10, 11, and 12 meters. So, looks like I'm going to have to put that wire across in the back. Didn't really feel like doing that. It's almost midnight, but what are you going to do? Sometimes I'm very nocturnal here at the Gemini Garage, or in this case, Gemini Garage. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's at this point, it's the Gemini Kitchen, so there you go. So I went out and grabbed the soldering iron. I guess the least I could do is disconnect the coax and the power before I start soldering on it, right? So Again, there's that area in there that you're supposed to lay a wire across. So, again, in watching all these videos, it's still a little bit inconclusive as to which ones, because some of these and the radios are different too. Like different radios, some of them you used to have to do something and now you just do it through the menu, so I don't know exactly what the proper procedure is for it, but I guess we're going to find out, right? But yeah, there's that patch there for laying the wire across there, so it's definitely not going to hurt to do that. I think laying the wire across there is what, on some models, allows you to access the menu, the special menu. We'll just take this thing off again like we did before. Our screws on here. Okay, let me check my camera here real quick and see. I've pretty much figured out how this works. At one point they probably put some jumpers in here, but you got to have the wire across here and then that'll put it into the menu. I actually was able to touch these two things with a wire while I turned it on, and it would go into the service menu. But when I took the thing off, then turned it back off, then it wouldn't stay in the menu. So you got to have the wire running across there on this one at least to get into the service menu. So I've got a very small piece of wire that's cut here to lay across there, but I'm going to have to put a little solder in there first. So got one of these little Pine-Sil soldering irons here. These are great. Thing. I'm just going to flip it over and take this part off here. That'll tell me everything I need to know. If you can solder it from the back side, if there's a way to solder it, you should probably do it on the back side. Otherwise, this video will be titled How to Convert a President Radio at Midnight. Depending on your time zone, of course. We got one back here too. No, they're very thorough about the way they put these radios together. They're definitely well made, that's for sure. They're definitely the kind of quality you would expect from countries that seem to do well with electronics. Okay, let's see what we got back here. Very tight fitting cover. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see what the big fuss is all about. Okay, well there's a spot back here where you can solder something, and this is the solder side of the board. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that wire right back here on this side. I just feel a lot more comfortable doing that. Just lay this down right here. Hold on, I gotta... Now... Okay. Alright, so let's plug this back in. Like I said, it's late. should always double check stuff like that, because sometimes there's no way to get to stuff. I mean, sometimes like this stuff, sometimes there's no way to, nothing you can do on the back side of the board. And if it's just some little blob like that, I mean, you're, like I said, there's a solder side of the board and a non-solder side, but sometimes people will put little, you know, if you're putting a swing kit or doing something, sometimes it's easier to put a little, tiny little bit. If it's a tiny little bit, if you're not, you know, trying to sign your name with it. Okay. I'm just going to have to put a bigger blob of solder here. This damn thing is sticking to the freaking iron. Again, I love these little irons. They're so small. Okay. So I'm going to set this iron somewhere where it's not going to harm anything. Good luck with that. And I'm going to trim our wire just a little bit here. Okay. And I'm going to lay it back down here on our other little solder point. Okay. Now I'm kind of smashing it down just a little bit so it's got a little bit of downward force, a little downward pressure there. Okay. Okay. Decent enough. I don't know if it's up to Huizang or whatever the name of the company is that makes these. I don't know if that's quite up to their standards, but certainly good enough for government work in this country. And so, alright, let's throw this cover back on. We're good to go there. No problem there. You know, I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol and just wipe that off just so there's nothing on there. Just no fingerprints and nothing overly corrosive on there. Just a little bit of alcohol. All right. Okay. So that's good to know. Let me make sure the camera's even still rolling at all here. That was very long and very boring, and I apologize for that. So, let's try and get this party started again. Jeez. Nothing like a little delay there. And again, you're gonna get these little pieces of wire and stuff laying all over. Be really careful. You should have a vacuum handy and try to make sure you've got a good, you know, kind of a little pile or a little area going so you can kind of keep that stuff. You do not want that stuff getting in your radio because that can cause some problems. So, all right. These screws over here are all over here on this side. Once again, it's a good idea to not tighten them up until they're all in there. That's just kind of good practice, especially when you've got ones that have, you know, the one back here. Again, not a bad idea to turn your screws counterclockwise a couple times just to make sure that they're engaged properly. If you turn the screw backward a couple of times, it kind of sets it up to go in right. Sometimes if you go at it and you don't back it up a time or two, it'll kind of catch and kind of, that's how you, screws and bolts sometimes get cross-threaded, especially little ones like this. All right, tighten that down just a little. Probably really shouldn't even tighten all these up until I got the other case side on, but I think we're good. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this other case on just temporarily here like I had it before so we can have some speaker and okay, flip the radio around. Speaker on there. Everything looks good. Okay. Yep. All right. Again, I'm going to eventually put those cooling fans on here, but for right now I just want to get it converted and figure the menu out and go from there. Alright, I got all this back together here. 3 more screws there. Alright, so now I should be able to go into the menu and it should ask me for the password, because it wouldn't do that before, and then when I touched those wires across there it started doing it. So let's see. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and screw the antenna on the back of this just because sometimes you use that mic key to key up, but sometimes you use the microphone key to do things in the menu, so it's probably a good idea to have it hooked up to a dummy loader and antenna. It's really not probably a good idea, it is a good idea. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing converted. All right. It's on FM. Not that it matters. Switch the band. Or no, not the band, the mode. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to push this menu button in here. And we're going to get there. We turn it backwards. See, now we got password there. See that? Password. So now I'm going to do that again. Push in the menu button. Hold it in. Now we're back in the password thing. Hit the menu. It'll put you back in the last. If it times out, when you first push the menu in, you come up with the reset, and then you just turn it. You can go through these other things, but you turn it back one, and you're at password. Like I said, that's what happens after you hook up that wire across there, and now it wants to go into the menu. So again, push and hold this in. If it times out, puts me back in there. So password. I want to type it in. So what do? I push in on it, and the first digit starts flashing, and that's a 0, and then a 1. Second one's flash 2. Third one's flashing 3, and so on. Now we're at 4, and we're up here to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's going to do its little ding ding. And there we go. Now we're on band A, which is 27.185.19. And you can change the band designations and all the stuff on these, I'm pretty certain with that. But yeah, as I'm switching the bands here, I, K, H, G. Yeah, I mean, on some radios, the bands are like A, B, C, D, E, F. This one here, it's different because it was originally set up 10 meter or whatever. But that's, that's cool. So band, we'll go back to band. Like I said, you can choose it. We'll go back to band A because that's where we know our CB band is. And there we go. If you wanted to change this back to original, you would, now let's see what happens when I push the menu button now. Yeah, when I push the menu button now, it doesn't do that. It goes into you can go into the reset thing, but when you go back, it just goes into the mic. And that's what it does when the wire's not across there. When the wire's not across there, it doesn't do any of that. Once you put the wire across there, though, it asks you if you want to punch in that password. So, we'll time out here. So anyways, there you go.